If you'd have told me when this film was announced that Thunderbolts would have been one of the best films that the MCU has produced post Endgame, I would have laughed in your face.
Is this one of the most emotional MCU movies?
I think it genuinely could be.
It's surprising that now Marvel is not giving out a lot more movies, but focus on this one.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time that the MCU has felt interesting and new and like a crossover in a way that I don't think we've seen since an Avengers film. This to me felt exciting to see all these characters from different points of the universe come together.
Is this also their different direction with their absolute cinema? Because they were promoting as absolute cinema with different directors, different writers, and different production designers.
I think that that would be only a good thing for them to try and focus on the quality. And I'm very excited to talk about it. Cue the music.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
I'll put the music there.
You can
and then
splice all the music. Yeah, the things.
editing.
Editing. Oh
Hello
my God.
and
Hello.
welcome to the Out of Time Film Podcast. I'm Tom,
I'm John.
and we're shaking it up. We're trying a new
Yeah.
format for the opening.
Yeah, trying to get your attention, guys. We're gonna
Yes.
use our voices, trying to lure us into the podcast, this crazy podcast we're trapped in here.
Yeah, we are. We're trapped here. Even when you're not listening, we're just trapped in this void. See?
Yeah,
Void.
void.
Very good. This week,
void.
as you can tell, we are talking about Thunderbolts.
This is not surprising, but here we are, another MCU project. We love talking about Marvel. You know, there's ups and downs. And the last big MCU project that we talked about was Captain America: Brave New World. It was something. It was disappointing to say the least, and that frustrated me because I was worried what is exactly going on with the structure of the MCU at the moment, because there was supposed to be a great build up to a big villain, but then that went completely nowhere. But now Thunderbolts, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what everybody's been talking about. It's got crazy reviews. People were like, "This is pretty good." I was like, "Oh, sure," because I was like, "Nice try, Marvel. You can't pull me back in. Nice try. You can't do this to me." Nuh-uh. But no, they've done a lot of promotion for this movie. This is crazy because, as we were talking about in the intro, they've actually used a lot of ideas surrounding absolute cinema, the meme and stuff, but the promoting writers, directors, and actors from different movies that were something to experience for the cinema, like Midsummer. That's a completely different viewing experience. But yeah, a very different approach what they've done to this movie, and I loved it. What about you?
I agree. It's been reshoot city in the MCU recently. You got Daredevil with all the reshoots in that, Captain America with all the reshoots in that, the Marvels of all the reshoots in that, Quantumania. Basically, Phase 5 has just been this incredible mess, really. Like, if you look at it as a whole, and the reason why I bring it up is this is actually the final Phase 5 movie.
That's
But,
mad. That cannot be the final Phase 5
is it.
movie because it doesn't
Yeah.
feel celebratory.
When you compare it to what we used to have to close out a phase, the Avengers, or actually, to be fair, the ending of Phase 2 is Ant-Man, and the ending of Phase 3 is
Okay, well, I'll
even
take that
Endgame.
back because I thought there would be like a huge party, like hooray or something.
And the end of Phase 3 isn't even Endgame, it's Far From Home. Actually, never mind.
ah. Wow.
The end of Phase 4 was Wakanda Forever and the Guardians Holiday Special, and
Oh wow.
the end of
Oh
Phase
wow.
5 will
Yeah.
be Thunderbolts and Ironheart. And I think that it's very interesting to look at this and see that all the reshoots and the issues that plagued quite a few of the MCU projects, seemingly, I mean, who knows, production, loads of things happen in production, loads of things we're not even privy to. This film could have been a mess, but the result was great. I settled down for this film. I had a little bit of anxiety in the cinema. I was like, oh God, is it going to be another Minecraft? Are we going to have to deal with people shouting and screaming? But no, you would be able to hear a pin drop. Everyone was quiet. The atmosphere was locked in. And I just had a great time. From the opening shot of this film, you just go, oh, this is what, camera moves in my Marvel movie? What, like, I was
Grading?
Yeah,
Hello?
right?
Yeah.
I was shook by the immediate level of style that this film had, and it maintained it throughout. This is by far one of the best things that the MCU has had to offer. Now, I don't think that it is the best film since Endgame. Guardians 3 exists. It doesn't quite reach that level.
He's just like pointing the obvious up there, like, it exists
Yeah.
for a reason,
Come on,
okay?
guys.
It's up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it hits the heights of some of my favorite MCU TV shows. I don't think it's as good as Falcon Winter Soldier or Loki or Hawkeye, but that doesn't matter. I'm not here to compare it with other things. This film was great. The plot, simply put, is across phase 4 and 5, we have been seeing all these characters introduced, and quite a few of them have been hired by Val, which is Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character. And she's got all these people working for her, you know, Yelena and Ava and John and Taskmaster, who are all criminals and have assassinated people for her, things that could incriminate her. So she basically sends these 4 people all to kill each other. And where we find Yelena is she's really struggling to find purpose, and then meets this ragtag group of others all just trying to kill each other. And that's kind of the jumping off point for the plot.
I was worried about how they're gonna reintroduce with the characters, because there's a lot of characters like John Walker from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Taskmaster from Black Widow.
My favorite character. Yeah, I love
Your favorite character, Tom. Oh my god.
I love Taskmaster's development in this film. Honestly, she shone. She was a highlight, truly.
Wow, she had an amazing character development that just went out with a bang. You know what I mean? And
You're
you've
not
got
wrong.
Ava Starr, Ghost, who was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
And then Yelena, Black Widow's sister. So yeah, and
And
Red Guardian. Red
and
Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Yeah, I have to say he was the funniest. David Harbour, he was really funny, because I was worried how are they gonna do Red Guardian for this, because he wasn't really for me in Black Widow. He wasn't a huge highlight for me, but oh my god, I loved him. He was just so funny. He had so much charm, and there was a lot of balance for the tone of the movie, because I was worried because the movie was exploring some really darker tones, but no, they balanced that with the comedy really nicely. The dialogue sometimes in the MCU can just use comedy out of nowhere, and it doesn't feel right. So in this one, they got rid of that. They just actually made it feel right.
Yeah, this is by far one of the funniest MCU films that I feel we've had in a long time. I think I would feel comfortable in even saying that for me, this is the funniest MCU thing we have had since Guardians 2, maybe. I just was constantly laughing. The cast here is so great. So
Great chemistry.
right? Yeah, you take these characters all from different films who most of them don't really have a reason to interact, but they all get along so well. And obviously, with such fantastic actors, you get that. And it's been 7 years since we saw Ava. It's been 4 years since we saw Yelena. It's been 4 years since we saw John Walker and Red Guardian. And I guess it's been a few months since we saw Bucky, but really it's been 4 years since we saw Bucky as well. All these characters are people that we haven't really seen, let alone interact with each other. But they make it work, and they make it feel so exciting and natural. Like when all the characters show up in the same location at the beginning, it was just like, oh my god, this is so cool. Just seeing them and all the different skill sets being used together, the different personalities clashing. They didn't feel like the same person, which you get a lot in MCU movies. It's like in the first Avengers film, how each of the members feel like distinctly different people. Here, it's the same. Everyone feels like different people. Everyone has their own life experience and way of talking. John Walker is always talking like a soldier and giving like soldier lingo and trying to be like a Boy Scout, kind of like that Captain America persona that he was putting forward. But he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
And Yelena is very dry and very done with everything. And then Red Guardian is just up here, just the most insane, crazy guy with these delusions of grandeur. But we love to see it. It's all very, very exciting.
I was just very impressed about how they've actually made the characters feel so three-dimensional. You know, there are moments you don't really see enough in the MCU, quiet moments like where they just talk to each other about their lives, and it just makes it feel there is a bit of connection to understand about these characters, which I just love to see, to understand about them. The backbone of the story is quite interesting about the mental health side of things. This movie was exploring the darker tones to it with depression and handled that very well. The MCU is known to be oversaturated. How do you put that idea into there? I mean, Andor had a lot of darker
Andor
themes
mentioned.
Andor, see,
mentioned.
Andor mentioned. So yes, you can try to put a darker tone into the MCU, and this film successfully actually works. I have to admit, there were some times that I teared up and I thought that's amazing. But another thing that I absolutely loved is that they actually filmed on some sets. For example, they actually filmed in Utah, baby. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Utah.
I don't know where Utah is. I'm just
I
saying
don't.
Utah because I'm just shouting
Yeah.
because anyway, they actually filmed on location.
Yes,
So
they
they
did.
actually
Oh,
used a lot of practical sets. For example, Florence Pugh wanted to do some stunts. So she actually jumped off the building in Malaysia and that was insane.
just yeah, it was
Like I
so
was like, I'm
cool.
so back. I'm so back. This is great.
In the opening moments of the film as well, it's like immediately they're not messing around. Even the Marvel Studios logo at the beginning was like, oh
Oh,
my God.
yes. When the entire orchestra just disappeared slowly inside, I was like,
Yeah,
oh
really,
no.
really interesting.
Okay, they're not messing.
An interesting thing on your point about this film dealing with emotion, dealing with depression is so a lot of people with Phase 4 and Phase 5 have been like, what's the point? Like, what is all this about? If Phase 1 was about assembling the Avengers, if Phase 2 was about something, if Phase 3 was about the Infinity Saga coming to a head, what is Phase 4 and 5 about? And I saw a lot of people putting some really interesting ideas out. One of the ones that I quite enjoyed is Phase 4 is about grief. You think about WandaVision, Wakanda Forever, Hawkeye, Loki. A lot of these are about grief, about grieving yourself, grieving people close to you, Black Widow, dealing with a lot of this stuff. Very interesting. I think that Phase 5, I'm not saying that all the projects are
Okay.
successful at doing this for Phase 4 or 5. In a perfect world, they would have all been very strong. We all would have felt great emotions. I'm not saying that I wept at Quantumania, but I think that Phase
Oh my
5
God, this giant ant! Oh my
it's
God,
peak.
this is
It's
it's so
peak.
big.
Yeah. I think Phase 5 is about depression and about feeling worthlessness and feeling useless. You look at Daredevil Born Again, it's about Matt not knowing quite if he can have any purpose without Daredevil. Captain America at least tried to be about Sam Wilson being effective as Captain America. Can he also have that purpose? Quantumania was also about similar stuff, at least tried to be. Guardians 3, the ending of that film, every single character finds their purpose finally, and they understand how they can feel themselves and feel content. And Thunderbolts is very much that. Every character is at a crossroads. Every character has tried to be a hero and failed, or has gone on a certain path their whole lives, never felt like they have belonged to something. And it was so well done, especially for Yelena. Yelena is the centerpiece of this film, and they really do her well. Florence Pugh is fantastic, and the development that she goes through in this film, they already had laid a very good foundation in Black Widow and Hawkeye. I feel like I should rewatch Black Widow now. I feel like perhaps I treated
Well,
it too harshly.
I remember that we didn't enjoy that film, but yeah, there are driving themes for those phases. I didn't really consider that the idea of depression in the MCU. Forget Thanos, forget Doctor Doom. They're fighting depression, guys. They're fighting it.
Yeah, brilliant. One thing that
Yeah.
so maybe one of the reasons why I wasn't so hot on Black Widow is because I felt it didn't treat a lot of the stuff with the emotional weight and sincerity that it deserved. Particularly what happens in the Red Room. There's a lot of time when they're like, haha, our reproductive organs were removed. That's funny. We're going to make a joke out of it. There's a lot of stuff in that film that is quite dark, but there is a lot of stuff in that film that I feel should have been treated with a little bit more weight. That is what this film gives it. This film is so funny, but it never trades the sincerity for humor. And I love that. And it manages to do all those things, which are a cut above a lot of MCU stuff. But at the same time, it still gets some great action in there. I'm the kind of asshole who counts the edits when I watch an action scene. I'll watch it and I'll be like, 1, 2. Because I don't like the fast-paced, shaky cam action scene. The stuff from Winter Soldier, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And this film didn't have that. And I was a happy boy. I loved the action in this film. It was so great.
The cinematography is incredible. I loved it all the way through. It was just consistent. And yeah, I'm just glad that they've done a different approach for this and actually look into like Thunderbolts. Great cast, but also great characters to work around with the chemistry and the score. Can we just talk about the score as well? Like, I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting fire. There were some great moments with the music.
The score is done by Sun Lux, who are a trio who I've never heard of before, but did the score for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So there you go.
Right.
Like, it really understands the impact that a score should have and integrating a lot of different elements, a lot of different themes.
Wow.
This film is really great. I'm not going to say the MCU is back because I don't believe in that. The MCU has always been the same as it's always
It's
been.
gonna be like
Yeah,
a roller coaster.
peaks
It's just
and
like
troughs,
we're
baby.
we're back. We're not back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the stupid thing to say, but it is a very solid MCU film and very much the best since Guardians 3. I think a lot of people will enjoy this.
It's a very self-contained story. You can just dive in and just watch it. By the way, we've had Sinners as well this week, last week as well. So Sinners and Thunderbolts, we're eating good.
We are. I think people should also watch Warfare. That's not a film you're going to enjoy, but it is a brilliant film that's going to make you feel awful, as a lot of films should. Great stuff. Let's do spoilers. I guess the biggest spoiler is the one that we all predicted. Taskmaster has less than a minute screen time in this film before she is mercilessly killed.
By Ghost. Yeah.
Yes.
Sad day for Taskmaster fans.
We see you. We feel you.
Yeah, you guys
disappointing.
just thought there was going to be something for Taskmaster, so...
You fool!
You fool! Yeah, she went out with a bang, literally. Didn't expect that. Again, when it comes to Black Widow, Taskmaster is big for that movie, but didn't handle it too well with the plot twist. So, yeah, it's fair to reflect that back, and then it's like, Taskmaster isn't a fully developed character. There wasn't really much emphasis on the character. We just completely forgot about it, so I don't know what's going to happen.
I think that's it, isn't it? I mean,
that's it, yeah.
She's not coming back from that. She was
dead.
literally shot through the head and then set on fire.
No one's ever dead in MCU.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, well, a lot of people thought this was the MCU's answer to Suicide Squad, and I'm glad that it wasn't. I don't need to see...
Oh, yeah.
Remember when the Doomsday cast was coming up and every single Thunderbolt was in it, and we were like, hold on, aren't these people all supposed to be at risk of death? But no, it's a different angle. It's not like Suicide Squad at all.
Oh, no.
I'm happy about that because I was very interested in a lot of these characters. Having said that, there's one person here that, as much as it pains me to say it, doesn't really have a place in this film. I'm sorry, John. If anyone here has listened to our Captain America videos, you know this is one of my favorite characters. But Bucky Barnes, why was he here? I mean, when I first saw his design for this film, he's got the long hair back, he's got the emo look, he's clearly having a difficult time, and I thought, oh, okay. I thought he went through all his development in Falcon Winter. Okay, I'm interested. What's the new angle? And it turns out there isn't one. They just have him here for the sake of... He's one of the two members of the team who gets no exploration, the other being Ghost. Again, just a massive disappointment. But Ghost did a lot more. She was a lot more present. She had a lot more moments, I felt. And Bucky, he's a failed congressman. Why? We never find out. We never found out exactly what drove him to be a congressman, why he was impeached or resigned or whatever. We never even know the circumstances around that. He never really gets to build a proper rapport with the other members of the team. It was just like, actually, if you think about it, why was he there? Why use that character? He has a relationship with John Walker, which we don't really utilize. There is a little moment, but as a Bucky fan, I felt like back in Infinity War and Endgame, when he literally had like 2 lines and it's like, oh, great.
Yeah, that was something that I had in the back of my mind for you, Tom.
Look how they massacred my boy.
What they've done to my boy. Yeah, it sucks to see that. I thought that there was going to be some explanation why he became congressman. There wasn't a catalyst for that if you look back for the stuff in the MCU. I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was the last time we saw Bucky partying at the end of the show.
Yeah, he was smiling. He had short hair.
He was happy. He was happy.
Yeah, he went through development, bro. Oh.
Yeah.
It's because him and Sam got divorced. That's what it was. It was just clearly shame.
But Bob. Okay, so
Bob.
the highlight for this movie is the comedy surrounding Bob. What a tragic character. He's been through a lot, and he is just a sweet guy. But the powers that he has, centering around the idea of the depression, like the other side of Sentry, the darkness, the void within him. Again, it's balanced by his persona, but also the effect on people as well. So there's a fantastic scene where everybody were just talking about Bob. They just mentioned Bob,
Yeah.
and then
Bob,
and then Bucky gets on the phone, and then Bucky was like, Bob, and then everyone's like, Bob.
Again, it's such a funny film. There's a bit where like this might be the funniest bit when Yelena and John and Ava are in the desert, and from the distance you see a car, and Yelena realizes that it's Alexei, Red Guardian, and the audience realizes it, and she's like, everyone get down, and they're like, what is it, and she's like, oh no, and we all know it because it's like that moment when your dad comes to like embarrass you in front of your mates, and he gets out the car, he's like, Yelena, it's your dad, and she's like, oh,
don't go into the building, it's gonna set on fire.
And she's like covering her hand, and the other two just turn and look at her. really, this film was a hoot. Some really
Uh,
funny. On the point of Bob as well, Lewis Pullman, just really funny.
that's
He
his
is really,
breakout
really great.
role, by the way.
It's not. He was in Top
Wait,
Gun
wait,
Maverick.
wait, was it? No. Okay.
He was Bob
Someone
in Top
lied to
Gun
me.
Maverick.
Someone lied to me. I'm
No.
gonna find out who that person was. He's not the
John,
first.
no. Come back, the void.
That's
Come
it.
back.
I'm going in the void. I'm gonna find my freaking person now.
No. He's turned all black and white. Oh shit. That's a
I'm
great
just
design as
darkness
well.
now.
The design for Sentry being the classic MCU over-designed suit, it actually really works because it's like a commercialized hero, and then the void is just black with the pinprick white eyes. Really, really impressive to come up with something that engages with criticisms of the MCU, like all the lines on the suit. I thought that was all really, really great. And the whole idea that people throughout Bob's life have thrown him away, his parents, society, Val, we literally meet him because he's been thrown away. He is garbage. He's going to be torched with the rest of the room. And he wants the void to swallow him up. He wants to accept it because he believes that he is nothing. He believes that he is lonely. Just like all the other characters, which again, why does Bucky feel that way? There's so much I
Yeah,
want to know.
Bucky's just back in
Like,
his, emo phase again.
Yeah, why does he feel alone? What about Sam? Anyway, doesn't matter. The thing that pulls Bob out is everyone hugs him. They hold him back from punching the void, from giving into his anger, and they all just hold him and they all hold each other, and it's beautiful. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy when they all hold hands. It's not quite as good, but it's really great.
It's effective. It's very effective what they've done it. Yeah, so another scene to talk about that is with Yelena's mental health side of things, that she just feels so alone that she thinks about all the wrong things in life. But there's this beautiful scene with Yelena and Red Guardian talking about what Yelena's going through, and Red Guardian comforts her and then talks about the football team. Thunderbolts. So that's the inspiration for that. And Red Guardian says, do you know why you joined that team? And he says, well, you wanted to be the person that everybody could rely on if they made a mistake. I think that's beautiful to think about for the rest of this movie, that people can have like a second chance to leave their demons and then just focus on saving people, and they actually save people.
There's a bit where when the final action starts to go down and everyone is saving civilians and all the characters come together to lift this massive rock, there are just these really great moments of redemption for these people who have been seen as villains or who have been villains and done horrible things. They get their moment of redemption, which I think is brilliant. I wish this film was longer. I wish it went into Bucky more and Ava more and even John Walker more. But what they do explore is really, really fascinating, and I really enjoyed all of it. I think it was a really solid MCU offering, and there are moments where I wish it kind of gone a little bit further with its camera work. There was a moment when they stormed the tower, and it could have been a one-take action scene. It was so easy to be a one-take action scene, and the action was still great, but it was so close. At the beginning when Yelena jumps off the building, that's 2 shots for no reason. It could have just been 1 shot where we keep pulling back and she jumps off. But anyway, very quickly at the end, I want to say, the asterisk in the logo, we find out that's because Val announces these people as the new Avengers, and they become this commercialized new Avengers that the public don't really support, and they all have stupid costumes. I love that idea. I'm really excited about where that's going to go. However, post-credit scene, we see them all together. They're talking about how the public doesn't accept them. Bucky and Sam are having a marital spat. And then we see the Fantastic Four ship entering the atmosphere, and it's very much a thing. And then I find out. So I watched this scene, this post-credit scene, and I thought, this is weird. They all feel, I don't know if you got this, John, but I was like, they all feel like they filmed this in different locations. I was like, why does this all look different? Well, this was actually filmed on the set of Avengers Doomsday. This was filmed by the Russo brothers. And the reason why I refuse to get excited for Avengers Doomsday is because this film was amazing. Jake Schreier, we haven't mentioned him the whole time, but the director did a great job. And then you look at the post-credit scene, which is directed by the Russos, and you just go, well, there you go. It loses the source almost immediately, and I'm worried. Even in the way it's shot, it's just boring. It's just like mid-shots.
Different weird camera angles as well. So
yeah, just like, not that it's functional, just like the Russo brothers. It's a functional way of directing. Some of it was funny. I like the bit where Bob's like in the corner. That was quite funny. And 2 teams of Avengers. That's very interesting. But I don't know, man. I don't know. we're
I
gonna see. We're
know.
gonna see. We've got Fantastic Four to get through first, so we'll see how that
Yes.
goes.
Yeah. My thoughts, Russo brothers, no. Please. No, we don't want no, it's gonna be bad. Love the post-credit scene, but directed by the Russos, no.
Yeah.
New Avengers, that's pretty funny because I think somewhere on the internet, I believed the asterisk in the Thunderbolts title was gonna say the Avengers are not available.
Oh.
But now it's actually called the New Avengers. Yeah, it's a very interesting design to have the asterisk because I don't remember there was the asterisk beforehand when the movie was announced. It's very cool because it's like, I wonder where's there an asterisk?
Yeah, I wonder if this new team is gonna last or if it's gonna be they die in the first half an hour of Doomsday.
I would be sad then I would leave because these are my favorite characters.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean this film did a lot for them, so I'm interested at least. So, what are you gonna give Thunderbolts out of 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, me too. And I think after so many fives and sixes from the MCU, at least in terms of the movies, it feels good to have a really solid MCU film.
Yeah, I was so happy when I left the cinema after seeing Sinners, and then now it's like, oh my God, we're back, especially from the Minecraft incident. That
Yes, it's so true. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you enjoyed it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, we're taking a break from superhero stuff and we're going to be doing Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. Ooh, my voice just broke there. The Underworld.
The Underworld.
Yeah,
the Underworld, yeah.
another Star Wars Tales of. I was actually lucky enough to see the first episode at Star Wars Celebration, and I'm very, very interested to see what's to come.
Nice.
And you can send us an email at astimefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on Tales of the Underworld, and we'll answer it right here on the podcast next week.
Cool. And you can follow us on Instagram at Out of Time Film Pod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain Afzal, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Jones-Meyer for the excellent theme and Ronan Phillips for focus as always. I think that's everything. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.